I'm Dara Kasicki, Independent Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide, and today I want to talk to you about block. Block is something that a lot of people think is a pill for cheat meals, and I want to talk to you today about why it's not, why it's such a wonderful product, and what it can do for you. Um, if you've ever been on a diet, most say that you should cut your carbs and sugars or limit your carbs and sugars. And I want to talk a little bit about why that is so that you understand what the block does. So carbs and sugars, when they enter our body converts those to glucose, which we need, which is a good thing. But when we get too much glucose, so we're getting too much carbs and sugars that are being converted to too much glucose, then our body stores that as fat. So it's kind of like excess carbs and sugars equals excess glucose, which equals excess fat, which is where that excess weight comes from. So that's why diets say that we should cut, limit, some say get rid of carbs and sugars, because when you have too much, you end up storing it as fat. Now, it's kind of unrealistic to try to cut that all out. So that's where block comes in to be able to help us block those carbs and sugars. Okay, so there's kind of three things that block does. It keeps us from overindulging. It's an appetite suppressant. It helps us maintain good, healthy glucose levels, which is awesome for everyone because there are so many benefits from having glucose levels that are stable. We have more energy, we sleep better, our mood is better, our body's better able to burn fat. And then the third is it helps to burn fat all day long. So let's kind of talk about how the block works and a couple of the main ingredients. So the block targets the enzymes in our body that break down carbs and sugars, and it neutralizes those enzymes up to 48% so that their ability to convert carbs and sugars to glucose is stopped. So um, it doesn't totally stop the absorption of carbs and sugars because we need some to be able to make glucose because we need glucose. But what the block does is it targets those enzymes and it breaks them down so that they are not um, converting all the carbs and sugars into glucose. But block does not stop us from absorbing all the beneficial um, ingredients, things that we need from our food, the other stuff that comes. So it's just focusing on not letting the enzymes in our body break down all the carbs and sugar into glucose. So that's kind of how the block works. Um, Two of the main ingredients in block are white kidney bean and NC2, which is brown seaweed. The white kidney bean is what helps to block the carbs before they're absorbed into the body. So it's what helps to break those enzymes down or stop those enzymes. And it works once it's in the intestines. So that's how that works. The brown seaweed has a couple things. It's kind of the game changer with the block. It helps with the sugar breakdown, but it also is an appetite suppressant because seaweed expands in your stomach. So it makes you feel fuller faster. So it's really important with any time you're eating, but with block to remember the rule of 80% of eating, I think is what they say. You should stop eating when you're 80% full because it takes about 20 minutes for your brain and your stomach to kind of communicate, and, hey, I'm full, and you don't want to eat so much that you're uncomfortable. So kind of remember that. But the block with that seaweed in there helps to make you feel fuller, faster, and longer. Um, and then the other thing from the brown seaweed is that it has naturally occurring iodine, which is great for our body. It's also great for someone who has a low functioning thyroid, so that's hypothyroid, because those individuals need iodine, and the iodine in the block helps their thyroid to produce hormones that they need that they're not getting. Um, so it's really, really good for hypothyroid. Do remember though, for hyperthyroid, someone whose thyroid is functioning, over functioning, they don't need all that extra iodine, so be careful with block. They can still take it, but they need to be careful. So I suggest like take one for like a few weeks and see how their body's doing and just kind of pay attention to their body. You do want to be consistent with your water when you're taking block, just to help flush all those carbs and sugars out that are not being broken down. So that's important. And a block is not recommended for anyone who is pregnant or nursing. So that's something to remember. So how do you take the block? Well, it used to be until yesterday that you had to take the block 30 minutes before eating because it needed to activate. Well, Plexus heard everyone's concerned about, we would forget to take it. It's hard to remember. And so they've reformulated it as of yesterday, which is just awesome because Plexus listens to all of us customers and ambassadors. So now block no longer needs to be taken 30 minutes before you eat. You can take it right as you eat, which is awesome. Sit down to eat, you take it. The bottle suggestion is that you take 2 before your biggest meal or before your most sugar and carb filled meal of the day. It does say that you can take 2 twice a day, so you could take a total of 4. So 2 maybe before lunch and 2 before dinner, whatever your 2 biggest meals are. I've also heard in myself how I take it is that I take 1 before lunch and 1 before dinner. That way I'm getting some of the benefits from both meals. So it's really about what works best for your body. So I always tell people to start with 1 before 1 meal, do that for about a week, and then add 1. Maybe you're going to add it 2 before your biggest meal and see how that goes for a week or so. And then maybe split it up. Do 1 before lunch and 1 before dinner. See how that goes. Kind of just play with it, see what happens. I noticed within the first week or so feeling fuller faster at meals. So I knew that it was working. So just pay attention to your body. I think that's it for Block. Block is just amazing. One of my favorite Plexus products. And I hope you'll give it a try. Thanks. Have a great day.